This is CBS News New York.
Right now, a suspect behind bars and now charged with murder in the killing of a healthcare CEO. New details this morning about the timeline of his movements before and after the shooting.
We have team coverage from New York to Pennsylvania, how the suspect was caught, what we're learning about him, and what's next in this case.
And the jury finds Daniel Penny not guilty in the subway chokehold death of Jordan Neely. Reaction this morning, including from Neely's family.
Good morning on this Tuesday, December 10th. I'm Chris Raggi.
And I'm Mary Calvi. Welcome to CBS News New York. And let's get right over to Tony Sadiku. He has your first alert forecast from the virtual studio at 5 o'clock. Tony.
Hi there. Good morning, Mary and Chris. Yeah, and a special welcome to those of you who join us early at 5 a.m. To our virtual set. And we got some weather to talk about this morning, some visibility issues out the door. As we kind of talked about yesterday, because of the rain we had, that kind of saturated the atmosphere. Now that's translated into some visibility troubles, and the visibility right now is dropping to less than a mile. Places like Toms River to Brick, look at Edison too, 2.5 miles, and in and around the city you're going to run into it too. So if you can, give yourself extra time to get to where you're going. There are dense fog advisories through parts of the area. Temperatures though, not bad. You know, for a December morning, you're waking up to mid 40s. Clinton Hill, Little Falls, look at you, 46 degrees. Doesn't feel all that bad in Sparta either. You were in the 20s this time yesterday, doing a whole lot better this morning. Newburgh is checking into 40s too, and you see these numbers in Greenwich and Northport. Hey, look at the picture though from Weehawken, and you see how murky of a sky we have. This is part of the issues that we're talking about. Some of this will make it tough to see, so if you can, give yourself extra time to get to where you're going, or give yourself extra distance too. That will help. Of course, the clouds are helping to trap in and help us retain a little bit of that warmth. Let me show you what's in store. As we track the commute forecast, there will be areas of fog that can slow you down, but it's green lights for the most part in the afternoon hours, although we're starting to get in a little bit of some wet weather. First look weather day for tomorrow. And tomorrow will come with big issues. Rounds of rain, wind, and then the strong cold air push behind it. We're going to detail all in a moment. But first, I want to get you an important traffic update as we say hello to Guy Stanier. Good morning, Guy.
Good morning, Tony. We're going to start in New Jersey. We have the truck lanes closed on the southbound side of the turnpike. This is for road work through the area. All traffic is using the car lanes. Thankfully, no delays. Some subway issues in Queens. Southbound E and F trains are running with delays due to track work along the lines. And checking the Hudson River crossings, no delays at the George Washington Bridge or the Lincoln and Holland tunnels. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide, and it's another gridlock alert day. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Guy, thank you. 5:02, the suspect under arrest in Pennsylvania is expected to be extradited to New York City to face charges in the killing of Unitedhealthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
New York City prosecutors have now filed a murder charge against 26-year-old Luigi Mangione. He's being held without bail. Police say a 3D printed gun and silencer were found inside his backpack, along with writings that suggest anger with corporate America. Elijah Westbrook live outside criminal court in Lower Manhattan with more. Elijah?
Well, the latest at this time, Chris and Mary, as you mentioned, we know the 26-year-old suspect has officially been charged with murder. We know he is currently behind bars without bail and did not enter a plea in his first court appearance yesterday in Pennsylvania.
This morning, police have the man they say killed Unitedhealthcare CEO Brian Thompson last week. This is 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, who authorities say was eating breakfast at an Altoona McDonald's Monday when a customer recognized him from the wanted photos and told an employee who called police.
We just didn't even think twice about it. We knew that was our guy.
When prompted for his ID, police say he gave this fake New Jersey driver's license, which investigators believe was used to check into the Manhattan hostel 10 days before the shooting. Police arrested Mangione for forgery and once in custody searched his backpack, where they found a U.S. passport, clothes which matched the shooter's attire, a ghost gun with a suppressor consistent with the murder weapon, and a 3-page handwritten manifesto. Police also revealed Mangione had various electronic devices, which they believe was used to evade detection.
It was crucial that we were able to remove him off the streets of America, and we were going to seek him out no matter where he was at the time.
Police say the most crucial clue in the investigation has been this photo from seemingly the only time the suspect pulled down his mask in New York. But the NYPD has been working around the clock to track his moves, from his arrival by bus to New York City to his escape from the crime scene by bicycle to Central Park, where detectives recovered a backpack, and his taxi ride to the Uptown bus terminal where they believe he fled.
Our NYPD investigators combed through thousands of hours of video, followed up on hundreds of tips, and processed every bit of forensic evidence, DNA, fingerprints, IP addresses, and so much more.
And so back out here live, authorities say that the suspect will be extradited at some point, but that process could take several days, if not weeks. As you can imagine, investigators have a lot on their hands, combing through evidence to figure out the suspect's journey here to New York City, and also if he in fact acted alone. That is the latest at this time here in Lower Manhattan. Elijah Westbrook, CBS News, New York.
Elijah, thank you. And with his arrest come questions about the suspected shooter, Luigi Mangione.
Allie Bauman is live outside that McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Allie, good morning. And what do we know of his journey from New York City to where you are in Pennsylvania and the details that led up to his capture?
Good morning, Chris and Mary. Now, police believe Luigi Mangione left New York City immediately following that shooting, leaving the crime scene on bike, going on bike through Central Park, and then eventually in a taxi up to the Washington Heights bus station, where they believe he got on a bus out of town going to Philadelphia, where investigators think he spent some time before then going to Pittsburgh and then coming here to Altoona. Now, investigators still trying to fill in some of the gaps, that timeline, figure out how he was moving through Pennsylvania and where he was staying while he was here. He, of course, was very intentionally trying to evade surveillance cameras, and investigators believe that they actually found some electronic devices in his backpack when they arrested him here that may have helped him evade some of those surveillance cameras along his route. Now, the most credit that the investigators are giving in this investigation here is to the public, saying especially that customer at this McDonald's, thanking that customer for seeing something, recognizing a suspect that they had seen in all the wanted posters, saying something and doing something, as they're saying, which was calling the police. Chris and Mary.
Allie, so much information is coming in hour by hour. Can you tell us what else we've learned about Mangione since his arrest?
Well, like many in his generation, Luigi Mangione had a very large digital footprint. We know that he did have ties to Pennsylvania in some way. He graduated from UPenn in 2020 with bachelor's and master's degrees, actually, in computer science. CBS News has learned Mangione was most recently living in Honolulu, Hawaii, at a co-living, co-working space there for people who work remotely. Now, a spokesperson for that community said that he was there until 2022 when he left, as the spokesperson understood it, because of a lifelong back injury that was exacerbated by surfing and hiking. Now, Mangione's social media accounts make several references to a spinal injury, and CBS News has learned handwritten notes stored on a Google Drive linked to his account referenced a condition where the vertebrae in the lower spine slips out of place. Mangione comes from a prominent Baltimore family and graduated as valedictorian from a private all-boys high school in Maryland. And in that manifesto that police found on him yesterday, they said that he had ill will towards corporate America. Chris and Mary.
All right, Allie Bauman live for us this morning. Allie, thank you. And we are learning more about the suspect in this case, from his upbringing to his Ivy League education.
Ellen Devlin joined us live in the studio with a closer look at his background.
Yeah, building on what Elijah and Allie just kind of walked us through there. More information is coming in by the hour. A common theme here is that nobody who knew suspect Luigi Mangione had any inclination that led them to believe he could be capable of something like this. We're tracing the last 10 years of his life and what led up to where we are now.
I'm honored to be speaking to you all today on behalf of the Gilman class of 2016.
Video from 8 years ago show now murder suspect Luigi Mangione on stage at his high school graduation. One of the many new pieces of information we're now learning about Mangione following his arrest in Pennsylvania Monday.
I'm beyond shocked. It's unimaginable.
And now the people of his past helping uncover the man behind the mask.
I was roommates with him, friends, hiked, went to yoga. He was, did his best to be athletic and unfathomable knowing the kind, person that I saw and knew.
According to his LinkedIn account, Mangione last worked as a data engineer at vehicle buying website TrueCar, last listed as employee there in 2023. He's an Ivy League graduate with a master's in engineering from UPenn and also has ties to Stanford. His last known address here in Honolulu, Hawaii, where he lived at Surf Break's co-living community in 2022. That's where he met R.J. Martin, who echoes the shock of the people who knew him best.
Personally, I can make zero sense of it. There's never justification for violence.
CBS News has learned Mangione is related to a prominent Maryland family who owns country clubs, healthcare facilities, and real estate companies in the state. And in recent months, posts tagging him on social media implied he had lost touch with some friends, with some asking where he was and what he was doing, wishing him the best and hoping he was okay, only for their reconnection to be with a mugshot seen around the world.
And another classmate of Mangione's who wanted to remain anonymous described him as a smart guy who she wouldn't characterize as an introvert or an extrovert, but added he was their valedictorian for a reason. Mangione has been denied bail in connection to these charges.
Alan Devlin, thank you. And to listen to the full press conference from authorities and to hear in-depth analysis from our experts, go to CBSNewYork.com.
Well, Daniel Penny has been acquitted in the subway chokehold trial, but his legal troubles are not over just yet. He's now facing a civil action in that case. Penny was seen celebrating at a Manhattan bar yesterday shortly after the jury cleared the Marine veteran of criminally negligent homicide in Jordan Neely's death last year. A more serious manslaughter charge was dismissed last week because the jury was deadlocked on that count. Penny's attorneys argued he was protecting himself and other subway passengers from a volatile, mentally ill man who was making alarming remarks and gestures. But Neely, a subway performer who struggled with homelessness, was unarmed and didn't touch any passengers. A former Brooklyn assistant district attorney says the argument that Penny was defending fellow passengers had to play on jurors' minds.
Every time they were on the train for these weeks of trial, they were thinking about this trial and how they would have reacted.
Neely's family and supporters were angry and shouting at the verdict, and Neely's father was thrown out of court.
My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. It really, really hurts.
Neely's father has filed wrongful death suit against Penny, and we'll have more coming up in our next half hour, including reaction from the mayor and calls for change with the mental health system.
5:11, let's get back to meteorologist Tony Sadiku, find out what we can expect for today. Tony.
Hi there, Mary Chris. Yeah, so after a little bit of rain yesterday, our weather pattern's still very unsettled. I mean, you can tell just looking outside right now, the clouds hanging low, areas of fog. And after round one, we've got another round loading up moisture from the south. This is going to overspread our area beginning late tonight and early tomorrow, having an impact on your day. It's a first alert weather Wednesday. Come take a look at how much rain we could accumulate by the time it's all said and done. Many areas yesterday picking up anywhere from a quarter to a half-inch rain. Could we pile on another 1.5 to 2 inches? This is going to be enough to create some flooding issues, and that is not the only impact. Wind and a major Arctic blast on the backside of it. We'll detail it on your full First Alert forecast. But right now, let's get back to Guy with an update on First Alert traffic. Hey, Guy.
Good morning, Tony. Unfortunately, we have some subway issues in Queens. Southbound E and F trains are running with delays in both directions. This is due to track work along the lines. Checking on Mass Transit's Big Four, everything running on or close to schedule for Metro North, PATH trains, New Jersey Transit, and the LIRR. And it's another gridlock alert day, so Mass Transit will be your best bet. Alternate side parking is in effect today citywide. Chris and Mary, back to you.
Hey, Guy, thanks. Coming up, allegations of racism at a Long Island High School basketball game.
Why experts say this incident comes from a wider issue in schools.
And a man from New Jersey stuck in Syria after the regime is toppled. The efforts to get him back home with his family and friends.